up, I gotta go get it. Wake up, I gotta.
Welcome back to another episode of none other than the College Couch Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Javaris Harris alongside with Stackz Delbridge. Forever in the building. You know it. You already know. Listen, we have had a great couple of days. WNBA draft just wrapped up. Camila Cardoza and Angel Reese. How about that?
Same
Playing
team,
together.
same team.
Man, how about it? That is insane. I mean, whoever thought the stars would align for them to be playing together? I mean, just two absolute menaces on the court. So of course we got to rock the orange for today's episode. To honor women's sports and as far as with the WNBA draft just happening. So, and I see my boy Stackz over there rocking the vintage. Wait a minute? Is that 7 Exchange, my brother?
Yeah, man, 7 Exchange in McDonough. Shout out my boy Travis Mammy. Y'all go holler at him for his drip. Everything, man. Everything you need. But yeah, 7 Exchange. I had to rep
Cool.
Atlanta one time, you know what I'm saying?
You know it. I
You
feel it.
know.
I feel it. Yeah, man. Shout out to that guy Travis. I haven't seen him in years, so hope he's doing well and hope the business is going great as well. So, man, hey, we're not gonna waste no time here, but a lot of spring games for college football have just occurred over the past 2 weeks. Auburn happening last week, and then this past Saturday you had Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and Ole Miss. Bro, what? I think it was a good few, with
Yeah.
the exception of one that we're
No,
still trying to.
we'll say they were interesting.
Yeah, they were.
We'll say that.
We can say that. We can say that. I mean, one, but I'm still stuck on one, and we saving that one for last because I really feel like you got some pressure to release from this spring game. But of course, we're gonna start with the SEC favorite, in my opinion. Of course, the Georgia Bulldogs. Listen, Trevor Etienne, right, playing in the spring game this past Saturday. Of course, he's dealing with some legal issues as far as with a DUI charge that he had a few months ago, and also freshman Andrew Paul played as well. Two guys that are really looking to dominate as far as on the ground for the SEC this season. Looked really well coming out of the backfield, catching passes out of the backfield. They just look like they know like what the
Right, right,
expectation is
right.
for
Let's
Coach
let's
Smart.
not get it wrong. This what Etienne has been doing, at Florida, whatever.
Mhm.
It's in his DNA. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? With his brother had, been a beast at Clemson, in prior years or whatever. And we know this is what we expected from him. I mean, I would have been more shocked if he hadn't had, the big game that he had, showing his skill, catching the ball, running that thing. I mean, it looks good. This gives Georgia another asset,
Mhm.
in that offense. And you guys as receivers, Georgia's receivers,
Yeah.
man, this year they nice. I mean, if they can keep this up, Joker stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? I like it. I like what I see from their receiving core. They will catch some big passes, some bad passes turned into big passes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like how Georgia's looking.
Yeah.
We'll see how it translate on the field against other opponents and stuff like that. Because it is spring. This is only what we can say for this point in the season and stuff like that. But from what I saw, they look good. They look
Yeah.
good. I mean, the receivers are high pointing the ball like they're supposed to. Uh, they're going to get the 50-50 balls like they're supposed to. The route running was phenomenal. Um, but let's not get it twisted. Them DBs are still flying to the ball too. I mean, the defense. I think the defense was solid. I don't think they were the defense of old that we're accustomed to seeing Georgia be as far as that first championship goes. I don't think we'll see another one like that for a long time if we ever see one
Mhm.
quite that dominant. But with that being said, it's still a dominant unit. Like what I'm saying. Even last year's in the second championship, Georgia's team were dominant. So uh, it's gonna be interesting to see how they do. But the offense it shouldn't be a problem.
Mhm.
It's really on Carson Beck's shoulders to mess up or elevate because he's got the receivers, he's got the line, he's got the running backs. I mean, sky's the limit, and
Yeah.
So I mean, I saw some bad passes in there, which is it's to be expected. You got the spring game, you're going up against your defense and everything like that. You get excited, get wide eyed, whatever. But that's expected. But this is why
Yeah,
we call it a spring game, a practice game, because this is where you iron out those wrinkles. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But I mean, as long as the bad don't outweigh the good, and it definitely didn't in Georgia's game. The good definitely outweighed the bad. You know, so I like how Georgia looks.
yeah. And I definitely want to piggyback off of the receiving core. I mean, especially with the departure of Brock Bowers and Lat McConkey, you can see that the receiver coach is really challenging these guys. And I mean, it seems like the route trees are expanding and opening up. And I mean, they're really getting comfortable out there, as far as making big catches and really showing, defensive backs different looks that they're going to probably be using this year. So it's really good to see. Like, it's really um, a good feeling to see something that we're going to be expecting,
Right,
or getting an early look at, as the season starts to roll in. So I think that the receiving core should be in good hands. Especially with a lot of moves and the coaching staff going on.
right,
They looked really solid, like you said, in that
right,
defense.
right.
Oh my goodness!
They,
In my
they,
opinion, I thought they were playing in an in-season game. They really thought they were playing in an in-season game.
yeah,
I mean,
that's how you want to play those
yeah.
type of things. Because I mean, this is the closest action that they would get for a long time.
Hmm.
And let's be like, one, I don't mean to cut you off, but
No, you
how
good.
you said about the coaching change.
Hmm.
So, like I said, you only can see where they're at in this moment. Like,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, at this point in the off season. Now in season, it might take him a little bit longer to get going because I mean, like you said, it's a whole lot of coaching changes. So Carson Beck's got to get into his, and receivers got to get into theirs. Defense, everybody has to get into their roles and readjust and stuff like that. So and the coaches got to get on the same
Mhm.
page because I mean, sometimes a lot of these coaches might not have coached before together. You know, so it may take them a little bit longer. When I say a little bit longer, I'm not saying like the whole season or nothing, but you know, they might win 2 or 3 games. It might not look as pretty as you might want, but they still get it done. And then all of a sudden, game 4, game 5, they start hitting their stride because it takes a little time to you know iron out those wrinkles, not just within the offense and within the defense, but within the coaching staff. Like they got to get on one page. That's to me why where you get championship teams when the coaches can get on one page and the players can follow suit. You got something special. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So, and I think that's what Georgia had when they won the
Yeah.
championship. I think that's what they had. Bama had when they won theirs. It wasn't a lot of turnover. And when it
Yeah.
was turnover, it was the right people in those positions saying, "Hey, I'm calling these plays, calling the right plays." So, I think it's gonna come down for the offense. I think the defense is gonna do well for Georgia based off what I saw. I think the offense is just getting the right play calls at the right times. I think that's going to be their biggest thing. And then also Carson Beck just making the right decisions and not getting rattled, which I don't think he does very often as far as not getting rattled. But I think it's going to boil down to that. You know,
Mhm.
the coaches calling the right plays at the right times, get his guys open, scheming his guys open, and things like that. And Carson Beck making those right reads. And if he does, get rattled and they get into him, he shakes it off and figures it out. I think it's gonna be moments like that in the games, this season that's gonna really try because everybody still wants Georgia's head. Like
Mhm.
everybody still wants Bama's head just to say that they beat them. So Georgia, all these teams have to play with their desire to prove that they're those guys. So
So yes, 100%. No, agreed. Like that is pretty solid, brother. But I do want to go back to the defense with two guys who really caught my attention. One being Michael Williams, uh, a guy from Columbus, Georgia, from where I went to school. I watched this guy play his senior year of high school. Unbelievable athlete, brother. Like, I mean, when I say he overtowers his opponents, even his own teammates in high school. Like, the guy was insanely, like, just big. Like, I can't describe it enough. Like, the guy is a
right, right,
dog.
right,
And I mean, with him out there, I mean, one of the clear cut leaders on the defensive side of the ball made a pick. got a tip pick in the spring game, and I mean, you could just tell like by his teammates really just uplifting him after he got that pick. Like you could tell like this guy has worked his butt off, to
Right,
be a part of
right,
this team and to be a leader
right,
and to really make some noise this season. And then
right.
on the other, and another guy was C.J. Allen who got a pick as well. And I see this guy like as being almost like Hawkeyes. Like this man just knows where the ball is at all times. And I really feel like he's going to make a big time difference on the defensive stance as well. So when you got two guys like that who are really like already zeroing in on big time plays like that, I really feel like okay, these boys aren't playing around. Like
No,
these are
yeah,
some really
yeah,
serious guys.
yeah. They're competing. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
for sure.
Competing is really going to be a difference maker
Right,
for
right,
this defense this year,
right,
100%. So
right.
yeah, and I mean we got to talk about the gunslingers as far as Gunnar Stockton as well as Carson Beck, who you've been mentioning already earlier. Brother, I hate to say this, but I was really just astonished by Carson. I'm sorry, Gunnar Stockton's arm. Like this man has a absolute cannon,
Yeah,
and I'm so upset that I did not realize it before.
well, I mean, he didn't play like that.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's kind of hard. Like it's kind of hard to say. Oh well, I know he could sling it with the best of them when you haven't seen what he could do. Just like much like with Justin Fields when he was playing for Georgia, you didn't really get to see what he was like that
yeah,
until he got to Ohio State. You know, so yeah, I mean, he came out and did what he was supposed to do,
mhm,
competed for the starting job. I
yeah,
mean, which we all know he's not going to get the starting job, but he made a strong case to where Carson Beck goes down, God forbid, we still okay because we got him. We know he can, and that's what you want to do. Like with any player, that's why you have a depth chart. Because if one goes down, we don't want to panic. We don't want to say, oh, our season's over. We want to be able to, say, no, we believe in this guy. He's got the game reps. He's practiced well. He's done all the things right. Now let's just go get behind him and let's, let it go to work. Because I mean, how many times have we seen prime example last year with Florida State? You know what I'm saying? And how they quarterback got hurt and backup had to step in and finish the season out, stuff like that. You want to be able to put that faith in, especially somebody like your quarterback, and say, hey, okay, he's hurt. Here's the keys. We got your back. You know what I'm saying? And I think the spring game kind of put Georgia fans at ease in a sense. Not completely, but at ease. Is like, okay, well, Carson Beck goes down and he's not playing well. We know we got something special in that locker room right behind him. And credit to Gunner, he's stayed the course. He hasn't transferred. He stayed and soaked up all the knowledge he can. He's just waiting his turn. And I truly believe, saying that Carson Beck stays healthy this year, next year the reins will be his. You
mhm,
know, and we'll see what that looks like. But as far as right now, it looked good. I think he had like 246 passing yards. He played with the first team offense, second team offense, everything. So he was able to get some looks. And I mean, be honest with you, what better way to shine than against a top tier defense like your own? Like, I mean, let's be real. Like, you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you might have some good defense you go against, but we know that Georgia is in that conversation every year as being the top defense. Kirby's not gonna have it any other way. So yeah, so I think he's gonna be all right. I did like the flashes that I saw. He was seen very poised, very
yeah.
calm. Like he wanted to take off a couple times, but like,
Yeah.
no, but it is spring game. We ain't tackling you.
Right,
Some of the
right.
moves you can't make in the game, but those are things
Exactly.
you want to, you want to iron out in the spring game. That's
Mhm.
what that's there for. You get game speed. That's why you got to incorporate the hit, incorporate the line getting looks, because you're gonna see these things in the regular season, and then they might switch it up on you. It's like, what I'm saying, you don't want to have a quarterback coming into a situation where he's wide eyed, and don't know what to do. You want
Yeah.
you want them to get them game reps. You know what I'm saying? Get the
Mhm.
reps with the ones, get the reps with the twos, so that they can, have chemistry. That's where you build it at. Because a lot of
Right.
times you don't have to be a superstar quarterback or a superstar receiver. You just have good chemistry. Like I know where you gonna be at before you get there, and I know exactly where you want the ball at.
Mm.
You know, and I, as a receiver, I know where you like to put the ball. I know that on this route, I'm probably gonna get pancaked when you throw this, because you know that's where you like to throw it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just vice versa. You know, because bad pass is only a bad pass if it's not caught. I mean, let's be real. You know, you say it's a bad pass, but if it get caught,
Yeah. Hey, that's fair. That's a fair
you know.
point, brother. It's a
So
fair
yeah,
point.
that's just my take on the Georgia
Yeah.
game.
No, and
Very
and I
impressed
and
with what I saw across the board.
100%. And like I stated to begin with, these guys are a favorite for a reason. Like they're really looking to take over and finish what they started. You know, as far as the SEC goes, because again, we're not going to have the East and West Conference anymore this year. It's
Right,
going to really be a free for all in a way.
right,
So it's really going to be crazy to see the amount of competition and competitiveness, from these guys, and to see who really wants it on the road to Atlanta in a way, in December. So it's going to be really, really great to see as far as who
right,
finishes out
right,
on top. Yeah.
right.
So yeah, brother, I think that's a closed case for Georgia standpoints, but we got to get over to your guys now. The loveliest plains in all of Alabama, Auburn, right? So, brother, I got to start off by saying this. We've had plenty of discussions leading up to the spring game, but it's time to put it on the table right now. Freshman Cam Coleman is going to be an issue for the
Problem,
entire SEC.
problem.
He is going to be an absolute menace to society for the SEC. And I say that with great reason. I mean, the kid is long, like he's massive. Um, like he can make catches dang near anywhere on the field.
Right,
And we're not seeing a lot of that now in the SEC. I mean,
exactly,
this guy
exactly.
can go and get it. He's a go getter, literally.
Right, right. And what I appreciate the fact of is that he understands positioning
Hmm.
and how to get open and how to stretch out for tough passes. And he high points the ball. He's a tall receiver.
Hmm.
Most of the time, most times you get tall receivers, they don't high point the ball aggressively like a shorter receiver would. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a shorter receiver, high points the ball aggressively, they have to get taller than what they really are. But if you have a guy that's already tall, kind of sort of like Marvin Harrison Jr. in a sense. Not saying that their play style is the same, but I'm saying how he attacks the ball in the air from what I saw. It was aggressive like that. You attack it like you're a shorter guy, but you're not. You know what I'm saying? So if you attack it like you're a shorter guy, and you're already taller, it's gonna be easier for you to get those big catches. But he
Hmm.
understands, which is rare. You get somebody that soon, that fast, as a freshman, to understand positioning and where the ball is falling, where your DB is. Like if I saw that one pass he caught, DB was on his inside hip. Ball was thrown behind him. He was able to make the adjustment behind him to catch the pass, which is very tough to do. That tells me you understand where the ball placement is, where your positioning is, and how to contort your body, which is very difficult to do. And the fact that he's able to do that, that that tells me a lot that this kid's gonna be special.
Yeah.
I just hope that we hold on to him for the duration of his college career, because with the transfer portal, you just never know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I think Auburn has a potential, a lot of potential. And from what I saw, I mean, I know some things we had to clean up. Line got to definitely hold up their end, which I think Hugh Freeze will get into. You know, Peyton Thorne took a leap, a big leap, big
Mhm.
leap.
I
Um,
was I was definitely impressed, 100% impressed
right,
by.
right, right. He took a big leap, and I think he just I don't even think like last year. I don't think that he was like terrible. I just think that he was uh learning. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And sometimes, I mean, learning is always a good thing, but learning as you go in football is kind of difficult to do at the
Yeah.
quarterback position. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to at the quarterback position, you got to learn. You got to know where everybody is at every point. Know the offense in and out. You and your coach got to be on the same page. everything like that. I just don't think he had the time to really dial into that. And I think
Yeah.
now, having full year under his belt, now he's got a full spring under his belt. Was going to have a full spring under his belt. I think that he'll be able to make that leap this year. Now I'm not saying that we're gonna turn no heads and make playoffs, nothing like that. I'm not one of those fans. I'm realistic. But
Nah,
what I'm
go
saying,
ahead. And listen. Go ahead and give y'all some
hey
encouragement.
man, look, hey, while we playing, I'm talking junk like we winning. But
Yeah.
but realistically, I'm a football fan first, so I understand how this junk works. So, but I do think that in the future, I will say in the future, I don't see why we can't compete with the recruits that we just had come in, the recruits we get next year. As long as we keep a solid court, because at the base of it, you got to have a solid quarterback. That's the base. That's the base. Like, I don't care who you are. If you want to compete for playoffs and championships, you got to have you a solid quarterback. He doesn't have to be elite. He don't got to be Joe Burrow. He ain't got to be Cam Newton. He just got to not make the bad decision. You know what I'm saying? Just get the ball to your playmakers in space. Because Hugh Freeze has brought a new level of excitement. We have not seen this many receivers on an Auburn offense ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we got playmakers. We got guys that can create separation. Now we just got to have a quarterback to put it to him. And I think Thorne can do that. And he also get it done with his legs like he showed last year. And he showed flashes of in the spring game. Um, but, in game situation, it's nothing like the real thing. So we going to see. But I don't see no reason with our schedule. I don't see a reason where we can't, you know, turn some of these games competitive and shock the world and maybe upset a team or two. I don't know which team, but I know we can, go. I think we can go toe to toe with the Georgias and the Bama's. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? I'm not saying that we'll win. I'm not saying that. I ain't saying that at all. But I definitely do think that we shown we can and we got more talent now. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So and it's a different type of synergy there. I could tell by the way they were running the spring game. I could just definitely tell that everybody is kind of in sync to where, I got you, you got me type thing. You know what I'm saying? I definitely see the chemistry with the quarterback and wide receivers as well. So
I love that, and I wanna make note. Hayden Thorne really has to make an impact this season, no
right,
question.
right,
He definitely showed a lot of confidence in the spring game than what we've been used to seeing from him, and he made a lot of inconsistency from last year, and it was just really like he just really always seemed rattled on the field. But
right,
he definitely showed a lot of confidence, which I was really happy to see. And I think he was making a lot of positive reads, like he was really going through his progressions before he made a pass, and I think that's really great. Again,
right,
great to see because that just shows he's getting a lot more comfortability in the pocket.
right,
He's making sure he's making the right passes. He's really looking for a receiver and
right,
not just throwing it out in
right.
the
And
open, which is
and
great.
again to that point, right? That to me, that last year it showed me he was rattled. I don't think he was rattled. I just think that he was
Hmm.
lost in
Yeah,
a sense to where it's like I know where I want to go with it, but it's not what it's schemed up for, or you know what I'm saying? Like, all
hmm,
right, I'm not too comfortable in the
yeah,
offense yet. Because if you notice last season when he got comfortable and Hugh Freeze made a decision to give him more looks and things like that, guys got an arm and he got an accurate arm. Like
yeah,
that's not sugarcoat that. You know, I'm not saying that he's bad. I don't say that he played terrible last year. I just think the situations that we had last year were not great. We were still building from a year before,
yeah,
you know. So plus you get that with not being able to sit there and have a full off season to get ready and you know what I'm saying? Like you literally moved from Michigan State to come be a starter at Auburn and like that you had to learn a whole new you had
hmm,
to learn a new culture. Yeah, I learned a new offense. Yeah, a whole new fan base. Which, I mean, no disrespect to Michigan State, but Auburn's fan base,
yeah.
they are ruthless. They are
Yeah.
ruthless. They have a certain level of expectations, as does Georgia, as does Bama. You know what I'm saying? Uh, like, I'm just being honest. Auburn
Yeah.
fans are tired of losing because we've been like right there. So they're gonna let you have it. So with all of that going on, I think last year kind of got to them a little bit, and then
Mm.
you know, uh, like I said, new atmosphere, everything like that, just getting to them. So I think that this year everything is cool. I think everything slowed down for him a bit. I think he's got the time with the receivers. He's had time to talk with Freeze, sit down and watch film with Freeze, figure things out, and it's not on the go. It's
Mm.
like I can literally sit down, have a practice, sit down, reflect on what we did, learn my playbook front to back, practice with my receivers, things like that. And I can tell, I mean, don't get me wrong, we didn't have Cam Cole last
Right.
year. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that you have those weapons at your disposal now, and you're more comfortable. So,
Yeah.
but on the other side of the ball, also the DBs look phenomenal, phenomenal. I mean, I can definitely. I was scared, you know, because we lost a lot of
Mm.
heavyweights back there, that defensive back position. But it seemed like those guys picked up where they left off and said, "Hey, we here." They were
Yeah.
flying to the ball for a second. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like they were everywhere. And McLeod, oh my gosh, beast. I mean, he's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Everywhere, which I like. You know what I'm saying? I like to see that, because we're gonna have opponents where we're gonna have to, be beastly down there. We're gonna have to get because, we're not the biggest team. I know that for a fact. We're not the fastest team. I know that for a fact. You know, Georgia's bigger than us, Bama's bigger than us, things like that. So that aggression, you got to get aggressive with these teams, and I like to see that early.
Mm.
So I mean, across the board, I thought it was a good spring game.
Okay.
Like I said, still some things I saw that we needed to clean up,
Yeah.
but it was more good than bad.
Right.
I think that the people that we knew were gonna be good, they were good. Like we, had Jarquez Hunter, things like that. Our running back room is loaded. I mean,
Yeah.
they are good. I think they're good to go. They got something to prove too, because they didn't perform quite how they wanted to last year.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be
I
interesting.
love that. I love that. And coming from, of course, the Georgia fan, I really look for Auburn to have a really dominant season. I mean, like you said, it's time. It's time for y'all to start getting some more W's in that column. Like y'all need it. I mean, if especially with the addition of Texas and Oklahoma coming into the picture, you guys have to, continue to put your foot down, like, hey, like, we belong, we
Right,
belong in
right.
the SEC. So I really, really look forward to you guys having a great year, coming forward. Cause I mean, God, I love Auburn. Like, I love going to Auburn. I love being around the fan base. I love being around the city, the culture. You guys have a great fan base. So I think it's it's needed
It's
to
warranted.
say,
It's
yeah,
time.
it's
It's
yeah,
time. I mean, we've been right there. I mean, for the people that want to talk about me being an Auburn fan, it ain't but a handful of teams that have, in the last 10 years, have 10, 15 years, they have won a championship and been right back to compete for it again.
Mhm.
And we are one of those schools. Like,
Yeah,
people forget. They remember Cam winning it, but they forget Nick Marshall and all of them when we got back, and you know
right.
what I'm saying. We just ran into a juggernaut in Florida State,
Mhm.
with Jameis Winston and Cook and all them boys. You know what I'm saying. So I mean, we were there,
Yeah,
So I mean, we've been there several times. We've been right in the midst of it several times.
Mhm.
And since then we've been in the midst of it. We just, the cards didn't fall in our favor because the year we had to play
Yeah,
Georgia twice. You know what I'm saying? Beat them one time, blew them out, and
Mhm.
y'all came back, beat us, blew us out.
Yeah,
So it just wasn't stacked in our favor. And a lot of times that's what it is. What it comes down to is the cards being stacked in your favor,
yeah,
along with you having the right team at the right time. Like Georgia, that first year, they had the right team, right time, all stacked in their favor. They had to play the team that they just played, a few weeks prior. You know what I'm saying? In Bama, which was the team that they wanted. You know what I'm saying? So everything was stacked in their favor. So I think it's a lot of that. Also with of course coaching and culture and things like that. But I think we're right there. Now I like what I saw. I think the potential is through the roof. You know, I don't know how good we're gonna be, but I know we're gonna be special.
Yeah.
So
I
I mean,
hope.
we'll see how it goes. I'm just hoping that we can go on beat one of the two big teams that we got
Yeah.
against Bama or Georgia. One of the two.
Hey, we shall see.
If we get both, so be it. I'm gonna be screaming to the high heaven.
Now
But
you know you asking for a bit much. I try to give you props. Now you
it's been done before.
you're getting a
It's been
little out of hand now.
it's been done before. That's all I'm saying. I just want one of the two. If we get
Yeah.
cause last year we was right there, both of them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, last year both of we weren't even slated to be in that game.
Hmm.
You know, I mean the point spread was one thing, but to everybody else, they wasn't thinking Auburn was gonna come compete with Georgia
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
And they dang sure didn't think we was gonna compete with Bama like that. You know what I'm saying? So we was right there. One or two plays different might have changed the whole outcome. I mean, you know, so like I said, I just want one of the two games. I'm cool with that. We get both. That'd be hey. I'll probably jump out my goddamn house and go flying that day. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. But nah, I
It,
mean it's interesting to see.
yeah.
Can't wait for it to start up and we can get to talking and all that. So it's gonna be fun to see. I say Bama because I know we got Bama coming up in a
Yeah.
second to talk about.
100%. All eyes are now towards Tuscaloosa, Alabama, with Alabama, the Crimson Tide. A lot of pressure, and I know this has been an episode, where the topic has been expectations, but a lot of it is now placed on Coach Kalen DeBoer with his first year coming up. A lot of faces in the building down there in T-Town. Coach Nick Saban was in attendance. You had a lot of recruits there as well.
Right.
And I mean, of course, the stadium was packed. Bryant Denny was almost dang near to capacity because
Right.
everybody
Right.
is wanting to see what this man is going to do. Like they need to
Right.
know before they pay money to see these games. Going into the season, like it's like you say, football is religion in the South. So with a lot of expectations now on Coach Kalen DeBoer, you now have to really see what he's going to have to offer. So I think, in my opinion, now I'll a lot of transparency here. I did not watch the entire game. Right, I was really only looking to see what Jalen Miro, how comfortable he's gotten in the pocket as well. And there was one other key guy, running back Jam Miller. Holy, this brother is a unit. That is probably one of the biggest guys I've seen in my life. And I mean, he's one of those running backs that's just gonna, just like that. You better be ready. Like,
Well, he's in the right conference
oh,
because
100%.
I mean,
And I mean, he's fast, brother. He is fast.
and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I didn't really care for not even being biased. And
No,
I didn't
no.
really.
Be open. Hey, this is
I
an
didn't. I
open
didn't.
space.
I say this. I'm gonna say this. Hats off to the board and things
Uh-huh.
of that nature, because the job that he's taking on is a job that's not for the weak heart. Because you think Auburn fans is bad, you think Georgia fans is bad, Bama fans got a whole nother level of expectation. They will call you trash to your face if you win 12 games and lose one. I'm just being honest. Georgia fans, y'all understand where y'all team is at. Bama fans don't do that. That's they have a standard there. Like I got into an argument with one of my uncles the other day, talking about Bama and things like that. And they really believe that they've never been bad. Like in their mind, they have a program that is untouchable. But let's not, and I always tell him, you had a program because the program was what? Nick Saban. You know what I'm saying? You say, well, no, the name, no, well, nobody was really talking about going big with Bama until Saban started winning. Like, I mean, let's be honest, most fans didn't become fans till what, 2000, what, 7 and 6
Hmm.
ish, whatever the time that Saban started to cook. He got there and started to cook. You know, and I say that to say, uh, DeBoer has those shoes to fill, so it's gonna be very difficult. And then you deal with that on top of a complete overhaul of your team because almost your whole team jumped in the transfer portal when
Mhm.
Saban left. And the big thing with Saban over years has been people staying and growing with him. So, and that's like, and everybody that's under him, that's what they followed as well. You know, you get players that see the value in developing. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, if you notice, with the running back room at Bama and at Georgia, it's always next man up, and they usually don't transfer. People that transfer are usually the fourth, fifth strings. Those people that didn't think that they were gonna get playing time, but they were still good. They just were not as good as the guys in front of them. So the board has those shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Saturday that I thought the defense was a little sluggish. You know, coming out, they weren't flying to the ball how I'm accustomed to seeing Bama fly to the ball.
Mhm.
I know Jalen Miro is going to do what he does. You know, because I already have seen what he does. He looked comfortable last year. It's just, you know, I don't think that they had the weapons that they wanted to have. You know, um, so I think this year we'll see what they got. You know, we'll see what the running backs do. They still got big guys on the line, so I don't think it's gonna be any problem there. But I didn't see anything that just jumped off the page and was like, "Yo,
Yeah.
Bama might be special this year." You know, but again, that's just where they are, in my opinion, right now.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean that they're not. I think that the potential that they have is through the roof because nobody knows what's coming. Like
Yeah.
Georgia, we kind of know. You got Brock. I mean, you got Carson Beck. You got Gunnar Stockton. You got all these receivers. You got these running backs. You kind of know what you're gonna get. You just don't know how dominant it's gonna look.
Yeah.
Bama right now, we don't know. Even with the spring game, I don't think anybody can sit here and say uh that it looks promising with 100% discernment uh that you could say that, hey, this looks like a championship team.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say that at this point. You know, now you got the rest of the offseason to get ready. So I think that they're gonna clean a lot of things up. The boy is a great coach, from what I've seen. His players speak highly of him and the recruits speak highly of him. So I think they'll be okay in the years to come. I just don't know about this year. Just going off of the spring game. I didn't see nothing that was like, yo, defense is crazy. Like, no, I didn't see none of that. I
Yeah.
saw good players. Saw good players out there. I just didn't see them move as a unit.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And you want that, especially with the defense. Like Georgia, I know there's good players on defense,
Mhm.
but I saw them move as a unit. Auburn, we're not known for our defensive dominance, but I saw them move as a unit. You know what I'm saying? So with Bama, I didn't quite see that.
Yeah.
That's
I
just
really, I really feel like with Bama, again, I was really looking for Jalen and just to see if there was any other key guys. The receiving core is one thing about Alabama's receiving core that I always have noticed in prior years. They're going to be fine. A lot of freak athletes on that receiving core as well. I saw one guy who made an unbelievable catch right at maybe the 5, just jumped up in the air, like out of thin air, and just caught the ball. And I was like, bro, there's no way you should be jumping that high to catch the ball. And so that's one thing about it. Like the way that Alabama's receivers are, they're just shifty, and nobody can seem to stop it. Like that is one thing that Alabama strives on with their receivers is you have to know how to pretty much the yards after catch in a way. And if you can thrive and excel on yards after catch out, you can pretty much play at Alabama. And
but
that is one thing that is going to be key this year for them.
I believe it's gonna be key, but I don't think and that's what they necessarily thrived on, because
I think
usually
so.
usually outside of the one little stint that they had, where they
Hmm.
had the receiving core with Devontae Smith, Judy and all of them. Outside of that, they usually only got one guy that's
Hmm.
like the top guy, and then everybody else kind of trickles down.
Hmm.
Because last year Burton was that guy, and everything else kind of trickled down. Because the guy I can't remember his name that made the catch on Auburn, he was not the number one guy. And to be honest with you, It was just a great ball and a great placement and a mishap with the DB that made him make that catch. It wasn't
Uh,
like crazy
Mechie.
separation, huh?
John Mechie.
No, not Mitchie, not Mitchie, not Mitchie.
Okay.
Last year, I'm talking last year.
Oh,
No,
okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, go
last
ahead.
year. No,
Oh,
I'm saying, but Mechie was with that group
yeah.
of all of them. So outside of those guys, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean that to me, because everybody likes to say that wide receiver you, DB you, all of this.
Mm,
But let's be honest, like they usually have one breakout at a time.
mm,
Except for that core that they got. Because I mean, you think about it. Yeah, Julio. When Julio's there, he was the guy.
mhm.
And everybody else is kind of trickled down. And you had Amari Cooper, he was the guy. And everybody kind of trickled down. You get what I'm saying? And then I guess Saban figured out like I gotta recruit more receivers or something. And that's when he got the Mechis and
Mhm.
the Devontae Smiths, the Judys and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But the core of Bama was their running backs.
Yeah.
The running back line, Bama was old school until they couldn't be that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and so I don't really think you can call a team wide receiver you or DBU. I just think the coaches recruited very well for that time, and unless every year, regardless, you have all elite athletes at that position, not
Mhm.
just 1 year that they break out, not just 2 years that they break out, but for the whole duration. You know what I'm saying? And you usually don't have that. But at wide receiver, you got to be shifty regardless,
Yeah.
because the whole thing is to get open.
Right. Right.
Understand? Like that's why Cam Coleman, I was saying that he was such a special talent because he understands positioning. Because like Julio, when he was at Bama, he wasn't a super great route runner or anything. He was just a freak athlete. He was big, he was fast. He was able to get open with no problem.
Mhm.
But then he got to the league and incorporated the route running and things like that, and he blossomed into the Julio we know now.
Yeah.
He got under Roddy White, a veteran guy type of thing. So, for the receivers that understand route running and can run everything already, that's major.
Mhm.
And I think Cam Coleman is one of those guys. But with Bama, I don't know because I don't know the receivers this year. I don't
Mhm.
know. But again, they had a whole overhaul of a lot of people leaving. So, I
Yeah.
mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. And I think we'll just have to see in August. I don't think they'll miss a step. I mean, I think especially now that we still have, time from what we're in April now to August, we still have a few more months, for
Right,
this to
right.
get it right.
I think
So
they're gonna go up. Like I
yeah.
said, I'm just saying from my perspective. I didn't like you can say spectacular catch. To me, a spectacular catch is somebody was out of position
Yeah.
and another player was paying attention.
Mhm.
That's just how to me. And the ball fell where it may. You know, I'm not really big on spectacular catches. To me, you know,
Yeah.
I'm personally a route guy.
Okay.
What do you do to get open? Because to me, that is a lot more harder than making a spectacular catch.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because if the DB, like I know, was that the Georgia spring game where the guy caught it, or was that? Well, am I thinking of a different? Where the guy caught it on the dude's back?
Oh yeah, and ran into the bushes. Yeah, that was Georgia. Yeah, I,
Right,
I, I meant to bring that one up too, but yeah,
right.
that happened
So
at Georgia.
and with that, the DB was in prime position. Just the receiver has the better view.
Hmm.
Now the DB should have got his head around, but the receiver was able to see that and put his hands right there and trap it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So okay, that's good awareness, good catch. You know, but to me, you just put your hands out at the right time.
Yeah.
When the DB didn't, that's six if you made a
Right.
touchdown. So either way you slice it, it's good. But for me, I'm just more impressed with how do you get open. Now, if
Right.
you're wide open every play, I'm impressed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that means either you running great routes or you just faster than everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But for me, route running is an art that is far more greater than a spectacular catch. You know, that's just me personally.
Hmm. I,
So,
I agree. I
but
think
I will say that I want to see what they come up with, or
okay.
how because Jalen Miro is gonna have to be able to show his skills this year because the boy is no secret that he's you know a throw it deep type guy, put it in
And
quarterback
we
game
saw
type guy.
we saw a lot of that in the spring game. I mean,
Right.
Jalen was launching that thing, brother. Like
Right,
he
right.
was literally
Which
launching.
he was doing that last year. That's why
Yeah.
for me, I don't think that I was really looking. I looked at him, I saw him, but I
Mhm.
was really looking at who else is
Mhm.
because he was good in
Yeah.
my opinion. He was last year. He was good. It's just everybody else kind of got to, you know what I'm saying? Because be honest with you, he saved Bama season how many times last year against Bama? I mean against Auburn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He had the little brain fart in the playoff game or whatever. But that wasn't just on him. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But he's good. I said it before, like before he even became the starter. I was like, he's gonna be all right from what I
Yeah.
saw. But you got to have the pieces around that won't. And nobody won. No quarterback, no player, no team has ever won without multiple people to get it done.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? Either you got a great running back and great receivers, or you got your line holds up. I mean, you got to have a lot of things. You know what I'm saying to
Yeah.
be efficient. I just don't think they have all they have all the pieces. I just don't think
Mm.
that they come together yet. I say that in a nutshell. I think Bama has all the pieces to be successful and be, the program that they have, come so popular to be. I just don't think that they've, what I'm saying? It's like having all the puzzle pieces
Yeah.
everywhere and then got some put together, but it still got a lot of different holes that you need to plug in. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I think that's where they're at in my eyes.
Fair. 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 I did want to make one more point, and I forgot to mention this in the last team with Auburn. I did want to make a point of freshman quarterback Walker White that got a few looks as well. I want to see more of Walker White in Auburn.
Oh, he's gonna be good.
A
He's the
lot
future.
of a lot of promise from him, and I definitely want to give him credit where it's due before the season starts. Because a lot of people look to us, to talk about these guys because so they can have players to watch for the coming
Right.
season. So I did want to make sure I mentioned him. Looked really well in the spring game 2 weeks ago. So definitely keep an eye out for freshman Walker White for Auburn. A guy who really brought in a lot of recruits with his skills. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely a solid guy. So let's head up north to Columbus, Ohio, brother. Ohio State. I wanna just say this real quick before we start with Ohio State. Ohio State now has 5 quarterbacks on their roster. If I'm Coach Ryan Day, I'm sitting in my office every day, lights out, just
I'm
just
stressed.
nothing. I'm trying to figure out, brother, where in the world am I going to like what direction do I need to go in as far as who is going to be my starting quarterback? Now, they started Will Howard. Now, if you know Will Howard or you remember the name, he's the transfer quarterback from I'm sorry, not Kennesaw, Kansas State. But you also have Julian Sayin from transfer from Alabama. You got freshman quarterback Aaron Nolan, the freshman from Langston Hughes right here in Atlanta. And then you also have Devin Brown and Lucan Kinholz, who played last year.
Now, with Ohio State, I want to say they got a lot of figuring out. A lot. Now that is, I know I just talked. I went on a rant about Bama and not, being cohesive and things like that. But Bama has the pieces. They're right there, so they're good. Ohio State, I think that they're still trying to figure out their identity for this season. Like you said, they got 5 quarterbacks, and to me, none of them look like the starter, in my opinion. Not according to the spring game. The running backs look phenomenal.
Bro,
Running
that was
back,
that
great.
was the greatest
That was
pickup
the
with
highlight of the whole spring game,
Quinshawn Judkins.
right?
Oh my
But
goodness. Oh my
but
goodness.
but we already know what he can do,
Yeah.
you know. But you can't. You got to have your quarterbacks. Got to be situated. What is that thing? If you have more than one quarterback, you have none. You know, and to me, that they have a lot of quarterbacks, but
Yeah.
I don't see. I'm not gonna say I don't see the potential. I just don't see that they're there yet, right now. I don't see that they are comfortable yet. I don't see that they um are making those right reads just yet. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Um, Nothing jumped off aside the running game. The running game was phenomenal. phenomenal. I mean, beastly. But I don't. For me, Ohio State doesn't. They don't. They don't. They got a lot of figuring out to do. Ryan
Mm.
Day, because I said it last year. He lost to Michigan twice, back-to-back seasons. Um, you can't get to the big dance. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and Ohio State fans, much like Georgia and Bama fans, they win now. You got to beat Michigan,
Mhm.
and you got to win the conference, and you have to at least make playoffs every year
Mhm.
at minimum. So I said, if I'm Ryan Day, I'm worried right now because if you go down from last year, you don't have Marvin Harrison anymore. You don't have. I can't say the other guy's name. Did
He's
he
still
come back?
there.
He came back.
Yes, he's
He
there.
came back. Who
If
was the
it,
what is
don't you do it. Egg,
Googly
egg,
Moogly?
Egmeka, Egbuka, Egmeka, Egbuka.
Mika
Yeah, yeah, him.
Google Gaga hee hee ha
Oh my,
ha.
he made a great catch by the way on
Nah,
Saturday as
he
well.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. So he was the guy that made that
yes,
big time.
that one
Okay,
hand catch. Yeah.
okay. When I was looking at, it, I thought I was like, okay.
Hmm.
I was so focused. I was so like, bro, what is going on here?
It was a lot of quarterback. It was a lot of
Right,
rotation
right.
going on.
I was
Yeah.
just like, bro, what is? I'm scratching my head. I'm like,
Didn't he just? Was he
you
just
know,
out there the last series?
I'm like, bro. But anyway,
Yeah.
but you okay? Now you have him, which is from last year. Which to me, Marvin Harrison was the guy,
Hmm.
obviously last year,
Right.
and you could pretty much get away with stuff. Then he's gone, so you don't have that threat on that side anymore.
Hmm.
So Oogly Moogly, shooter. He's got to be the guy now, right? So
Yeah.
quarterbacks got to play better because now you only have one like established receiver. I would say that because the rest of them, to me, they're either young or whatever, you know. Um, so now you have to be calm and settled, make the right reads, even more so now. So I don't know what I really don't know what Ohio State's gonna look like because as of right now, they have so much to iron out that I believe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, you have the quarterback room is talented, but it's just that it's so like you stated, it's so overhauled with talent.
right,
It's kind of hard to make the decision of who is going to be that clear cut leader going into
right.
August.
You
Now,
have to go
as,
ahead.
as of right now, a lot of people are saying it's going to be Will Howard, but at the same time, you still have quarterback with Julian Sayin. You still have Aaron Nolan, but these guys, can I say that they still have work to do? Yes. But could they clearly be that man, that next man up? If, God forbid, Will Howard does go down? Yes. I mean, they have no choice. You don't want to put Devin Brown out there after, what happened last year.
But
So, it's kind of hard. It's, it's,
I
it's
just
a
don't
tough.
see. To me, none of them scream out starter at
Yeah.
all. To me, like, you know what I'm saying. I can go down the list of all the teams we talked about. I can say clear cut that Jalen Milroe is the starter.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Clear cut. Georgia, I could say clear cut. Carson, even though Gunner had a good game, I could say clear cut is Beck's offense because the way he commanded it. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Um, I can say Auburn. Even though they have several quarterbacks, I can tell you that Peyton Thorne is the top guy right now, and not just because the other ones are young or whatever. It's just because right now, to me, he's the most comfortable one with the offense. He's got the most experience, and to me, he threw the better balls consistent. You know, like our backups, they threw some good balls, everything like that, but consistency wasn't there. But I understand, that. But you can tell who's the starter and
Yeah.
who's not.
Yeah.
Ohio State can't tell you who's the starter and who's not because to me, it's like they're all talented, but they're all playing like the same little even keel. Like
Yeah.
I can't really say who commanded the offense the best. Now I can say out of all that, you know what I'm saying, who might have got the most looks or who might have made a few better reads, but that doesn't mean that he looked best. You know, comfortability, moving the pocket, things like that, like confidence, things like that, and then getting the ball to your guys in space.
Mm.
I just don't see it right now with Ohio State. I don't see it. I don't see it right now.
Right.
You know,
I mean, but the thing is, I don't want to down credit them a lot because again, they still have a lot of key returns and additions with Travion Henderson, Emeka Abuka, Quinshawn Judkins from Ole Miss, the running back, and then you also have Caleb Downs as well. And Caleb Downs was a big time
I mean,
guy.
defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, but listen, in the other positions on the offense, great hands. But goodness grief, like
The most important part.
yeah, you don't know who your quarterback is going to be.
The only person that touches the ball more than the quarterback is the center.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Yeah.
And the most important piece after your line is your quarterback. So if you have no quarterback, I don't care if you got Hall of Famers at receiver. You can have, you name me any receiver. If you have no quarterback, you have no offense.
Mm-hmm.
Like point blank, period. If you are trying to figure out that, you know what I'm saying? Because at this point, spring games are late in the spring. It's almost summertime. It's almost time to start getting your depth charts finalized for the first game, being prepared for everything like that. So you should. I mean, you don't have to have everything clean. You don't have to be looking like championship team out the gate. None of that. But you have to at least show that all the pieces are there. They're getting closer together, and they just need a little bit more. Just like I said with Georgia, they got all the pieces. They are right, and they look elite. You know what I'm saying? With Bama, they have all the pieces. They just got a few holes to plug up. Mm. Just like with Auburn, I said, I mentioned the line. Like, it's a lot of things that and the third. But the one thing that they had a quarterback that is confident in the offense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, regardless of what it looks like, whatever, and our expectations are different. Ohio State is playoff championship or bust. For us, if we make playoffs, my Jesus, we will rejoice to the high heavens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We want that, but that's not our mindset right now. We're not playoff or bust right now. We're just get in the conversation a little bit. Like, get close, move that needle, right? You know what I'm saying? But Ohio State, they not taking nothing less than top 5. Let's be honest. So for you to have that program like that and have had the same coach that many years, you should, to me, spring game, you should be further along than you are right now. That's just my opinion. Even the boys, he just got there, and Bama looks already a little better than Ohio State, in my opinion.
No, you're good. We're still recording. You're good.
Okay.
But you're good. Yeah.
Got
a little nervous.
For me, boy, look, I can't do them no more now.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
No, like the board even has his guys like a lot more cohesive than Ohio State. Like, if you had to play a game right now and Ohio State played Bama, I'm taking Bama based off of the spring game. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I just went on a rant about how I think that it didn't impress me. Nothing stood out, and the pieces being there but not fitting all the way together yet. But as of right now, to me, they look more cohesive than Ohio State. I think Ohio State has a lot to figure out their quarterback room. Running back, obviously they got that. Oduku, he gonna be doing his thing, and the defense.
You say his name right. You say it right now. Egbuka.
Hey man, look at him.
Egbuka.
Egbuka.
But no.
Oh.
Yeah, close. Anyway,
okay.
I did want to add before we move to the last team. I'm sorry for cutting you off. I wanted to add, a lot of teams right now are playing some early enrollees, which are some of the freshmen, some transfer players, as well as the returners. But there's still a lot of key guys who haven't graduated from high school yet. We are now in the transfer period. The transfer portal period for guys that want to play in the fall.
Right.
So it's we're not even in the even close into being in the thick of really what's going to be to come for August.
But you got to think too, though. Although those players, you got to the guys that are playing now is the guys that you could potentially see playing on Saturdays, right? This is this
100%. Yes,
because
yes.
if you look at it, even the people that's waiting to graduate and the transfers coming in,
Hmm.
they still have to gel with the team,
Yes.
in practice and things like that. So if you don't, I say that to say, yeah, you don't like. I know Auburn didn't have a couple key guys out there. They took them out early, things like that. Georgia, same thing. Bama, same thing. But you can at least see what it's like when those guys are in there. You know what I'm saying? Because your late guys, your transfer, your late transfer, those are just plugging holes. That's
Yeah.
that's all that is. You know, but you still have to learn. So we are in the thick of things when it comes to this is the first and only time you really get that live action, live feel of Saturday.
Oh
Think
yeah.
about it. It's televised. You don't have as many fans usually, but sometimes you do. Um, you live hit, live pads, referees, scoreboard, you know, and you're fighting for position. Right
Mm.
now, to me, it should be more competitive because why? You're literally fighting for your position. So if you're a first string and and you're not balling out, and you got this second string coming here and he's knocking everything down, that's gonna be that coach is looking at that like, well, shoot.
You're good. Keep going. You're good. You're good. Keep going. Keep going. You're good.
He look like they looking at those things
Yeah.
like who's gonna take that? Because like I said, some people just play in games where they have instinctive values that can't be taught or you can't see in
Yeah.
practice. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're scrimmaging live. Like, Bo Nix was one of those guys that he didn't practice particularly well, just quarter to what I've saw and heard and things like that. He didn't practice super great. He wasn't terrible. He just wasn't like, oh man, he had a great practice. No, you get in the game, you line them up, you see, you know what I'm saying? Some things, the instinctual things that you can't coach. I
Mm.
can't coach you to know, you know what I'm saying, that if you run this way or whatever, that the defense is going to move this way and you got to feel that to cut back. That's instinctual. I can tell you that all day long.
Yeah.
But if your instincts don't kick in and say, yo, bro, prime example, I can't teach you vision. I can't teach you to see an opening as it's opening or right before it's open. I can't teach you that. Nobody can. It's instinctual. Like, so in practice, you might not see certain things, but in the game, like for instance, like I said, with that cutback, like in the hole, I might get stuffed every time. But in the game, my peripherals hit and I see that hole open up and I'm able to bounce back. Now, those moves that I've learned in practice and doing repetition of it are able to get me there quicker. But in game is when you really see where that comes out. Then you get to see how these players play beside each other. Like Kobe Dean, they used to play for Georgia. I don't know how he played in practice, but on the field, it was poetry in motion. You know what I'm saying? He could play with anybody on any given day, and he's gonna be a leader, and he's gonna, you know what I'm saying, and everybody's gonna play off of him. You know what I'm saying? Can't get it's hard to get that in practice. You can get that leader aspect, but in game, it's field.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's two guys. It's very instinctual and athletic, feeding off each other. You don't get that as much in practice. You get that through repetition in practice, but in game is where you see what somebody is best at. You know what I'm saying? So with spring game out the way, the new people don't get that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't get that atmosphere to play with those guys, beside those guys. Learn where you want. Like if you're the linebacker, you're the leader of the team. In the game, you might want me a certain way. I know that because we played together so much in game. You know what I'm saying? But in practice, I can tell you that all day long. But if they setting up as something completely different on field, you know what I'm saying, I might not get that. But on field, if I got those instincts to know my brother right here, he wants me here so that he can boom. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So for the guys that's coming in, like you said, yes, those pieces are not there. You said we're not. This is the thick of it. This is who's gonna be playing on Saturdays. Everything else, like I said, that's just those holes, those missing pieces that you might need. So right now, this is like because you know after the spring games, you got what May, June, July, and then you pretty much got things set for the season. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So the spring game is kind of important. You don't have to be all the way there, but you just want to at least be somewhere where you can maneuver. I see you laughing, my boy. What's going
I
on?
think this is a perfect transition to our last team.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's buckle up. Unchanged Stackz is about to make another appearance, I feel. So, last but not least, Ole Miss. Hold on. I would just say this. Coach Lane Kiffin continues to be the unconventional, not following by the rules head coach that he is, which people love him for because I mean that just makes him more watchable and more
Right.
marketable in the SEC, this, that, and the third. But for Ole Miss's spring game, right? These guys decided to have an all-out field day for their spring game. I mean, like
Seven
they
on 7.
they went 7-on-7 flag football, like they were dang near an elementary school for their spring game. They were having uh um relay races and slam dunk contests. Like again, Lane Kiffin is marketable, but like Stack said, when you're coming up this close to the season, everybody needs looks, right? Their offensive line didn't even really get a chance to get looks because you can't get looks in 7-on-7 as an old
This
lineman.
7-on-7 is for your skill players.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong. I know in high school we had those throughout the summer, everything like that. It's fun, it's dope. Skill guys get repetition with the quarterback, everything like that. But the way that Ole Miss's 7-on-7 ran, it was organized. I'm pretty sure the players had a ball. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. You know, I can see that. I love Lane. You know what I'm saying? I think that he's, you know, a color outside the lines type of guy, which is great. And I love it. I love the energy he brings. But to me, you want to get your guys as many looks as possible to compete. Like, and what can you say that you saw from that film that you can implement in the game? You can't really say because you don't have your line. You don't know which lineman it messed up or which linemen, are dominant. You don't know if your line is even strong yet. You don't know uh, who has good feel, good chemistry with each other. You
Mm.
know, what? Hold on, Jesus, these jokers back here.
Hey,
but
they know we about to it's about close to that time where we finna
anyway,
wrap. But no, you good. Go ahead.
with 7-on-7, the way it was ran, I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch
Mm.
it. Like for me, I want to see what you're gonna look like because I'm a fan of Ole Miss. I want Ole
Yeah.
Miss to be successful. You know what I'm saying? Because they were in the West. And they've been good. They've been one of those teams that's been knocking at the door for a couple
Mm.
years. Just haven't got over the hump. Had it been last year with this format, they'd have been in the thick of things. But you have a 7-on-7 game. Yes, to me it gets people talking, right? Because people gonna talk about it. Because
What
seven
we
on
doing
seven,
now?
right? But you can't. I just don't think that that's
Mm.
fair to your players to not have that look, to not have that contact. Because what you don't want to do is when they get in live action, they're missing tackles and things like that. Spring game helps that. You get
Yeah.
cohesion with who's flying to the ball and things like that. I mean, with 7-on-7, you get a lot of one-on-ones and coverage. You get a lot of the in the game. You might not get those one-on-one opportunities. They might be scheming for you. You know what I'm saying? And spring game, that's where you iron those things out. To me, spring game is as much as practice. It's best to practice as you can get because it's the closest thing to live action. You know, Of course, you're not playing against a Georgia, you're not playing against a Bama, you're not playing against Auburn, you're not playing against Ohio State, or any of those guys. But you're giving a look.
Yeah.
You're able to see what it's like to really hit an open space in real time with the guys that you have. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I think those things are necessary.
I do want to add to your point for the people that bring the argument. Well, they see each other each and every day through practice. This isn't just an ordinary practice. This is where, it's your first open practice. This is where your fans get a chance to come out and see. This is really what's going to make or break if fans really want to come and watch you during the season, right? So this was their chance, and they again they turned to a field day, which was marketable. The people came out, but are they really getting a chance to see what Ole Miss is going to offer for the season? There's practice during the week are closed off to maybe like fans can't be there, but media probably can, something like that.
I kind of now that we talking about it, I don't like it at all. As far as because I like to see the jokes, put helmet on, hit all of that. But I understand somewhat of it being I don't want to show you what we got. Because listen, we just broke down 3 or 4 other teams. We see pretty much what they got.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what they got. We know Georgia got. We know the receivers they got.
Yeah.
We know who they're gonna be going to more. We saw some of their plays, things like that, and it's just all for everybody to see.
Yeah.
But guess whose plays we didn't see?
Ole Miss.
So yeah. I get it from that standpoint. Like, because now everybody's gonna be guesses. They don't know. Like, if you can tell me something out of that 7-on-7, then I'm gonna think that you got inside trade information because I can't really see it. Okay, okay, your quarterback can launch it a mile, your receiver can run a mile down the field. Okay, I got that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I think that this was a fun way to keep people guessing. Meaning, because nobody knows what they're gonna do. You know,
Ole Miss is one of the trickiest teams to play against and scheme against, and really in all the college football. Like, they throw each and every set at you. Like, they've had Jackson Dart, going out for passes and stuff like that.
Right.
So like that is the type of team that Ole Miss is. So you're right. They are literally telling teams like, we're not going to show you what we have in store. Like,
so I kind of dialed it back. Now that I started thinking about it, and then when you said the practice closed out, and I was like, they are okay.
Yeah.
So they did. That sneaky little joker. He did that. In my opinion, to say, hey, we're gonna give y'all a look, but it's not gonna be the look that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So now, because think about it, if I really wanted to, if I'm any of these teams, I can go back and look at Auburn's tape for spring. I can go look at Georgia's tape for spring, and I can prepare. I can say, hey, these are the guys that we got to look out for. These are the guys we got to scheme for. This is what we got to run against these guys. This is what we got to do to get that. We got to get a hand in this person's face, and then they're going to be shook. Or they even see those little signals of, hey, if he's running this play, he wiping his hands 3 times, so we know it's coming. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you able to see. It's funny, but it's when you look at film, that's what you look for, like little cues to give you an edge. You know what I'm saying? And right now, the only team we can't do that for is Ole Miss, because they literally said, okay, go run your route. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to check it up there.
Yeah.
Now, it does, to me, that helps in that regard, where nobody can say week 1 that they have film on Ole Miss, But it also hinders players, in my opinion, because they don't get that live action look that the spring game is supposed to be for. Not just for the fans, but for the players. Like, you get the, game speed, you run a play, I'm going to try to stop that play. I'm going to fly to the ball, I'm going to see how my defense is shifting, how, everybody's hitting their gaps. You know what I'm saying? Who got burnt? You know what I'm saying? And why did they get burnt? Oh, they got burnt over the top. Okay, why safety didn't help pick them over the top? You don't get that, because you can say you get that with 7-on-7, but the way that they were goofing off and doing things like that, and the different guys that they had going out, it's hard to even say. I don't even think they're gonna watch that film. and if they do, they're probably gonna be laughing about it.
Right, yeah.
So I mean, those are the negative things, but the positive, nobody got to see what you bring to the table, and
Mm.
also that could have brought the team closer together. Because I could imagine being a player, because I know how 7-on-7 was, and I could imagine being a college player. You don't get to do 7-on-7 as much anymore.
Yeah,
Going out there, you just having fun with your guys that you've been in the trenches with, practicing with, sweating with. Y'all get to go out there and just have some fun.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's good chemistry, it's good team building. I'm not saying I'm totally against 7-on-7. I just don't think it's for the spring game.
yeah.
But it definitely builds that team bonding. It's fun.
Mm.
It's fast. But you left out an important piece. It's your line. Your line is the most important. Like, I don't care what you say. Linemen are necessary. They are the most important pieces. They are the people that see all the action and get talked about the least. If you have no line, you have nothing. Absolutely nothing. You know, quarterback can't be the quarterback without a line. Running
Yeah,
back can't be the running back unless you Barry Bonds. I mean, not Barry Sanders. Unless you Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders, this don't apply to you.
yeah.
But everybody needs a line. Because
Mm.
receivers can't get everybody on the football field needs everybody.
Yeah,
Wide receivers need quarterbacks. The linemen gotta have a quarterback and running back to block for. Running backs need a line to block for them. Quarterbacks need a line to block for them. And on the other side, the defensive line needs the DBs and the linebackers because they make everybody's job easy. If you have poor DBs, your line is pointless because quarterback can just throw it quick slants all day, quick fly balls all day because your DBs are trash.
yeah,
But if you got good DBs, you got good linemen. The linemen get in their face, they throw erratic passes. Your DBs get the deflections and the interceptions and things like that. So everybody needs everybody. So for them to not get those looks, that's horrible when they're such a big important part of their team. And Lane like to run the ball. So if your line is not being able to practice and have live repetitions, maybe they doing spring games, you know what I'm saying, and we're not seeing them.
mm.
Maybe that's gonna be their
Yeah.
live repetition. I don't know. But
Well, yeah. I think Ole Miss will definitely through a loop to everybody. I mean, especially after we just dissected it. So that definitely gives the SEC and even non-conference opponents something to look forward to come August. But yeah, I think that kind of sums up for as far as some of the spring games, and we definitely can run some more. I think this was really cool to do. For some of the people that was like, well, everything is coming to the end. What y'all gonna do? So that kind of answers the question.
I mean, we got we
we gonna
got these
spring
spring
game.
games. We still
Yeah,
got softball coming up, which we
baseball.
gotta
Yeah,
talk
and
about. Baseball
hmm
is they're in action. They'll say coming up. They're in action right
yeah,
now.
they are definitely
Yeah.
deep in action too. So
So I
yeah,
mean,
we'll definitely start getting into that baseball and softball bag for sure, and give you guys some of the announcements and coverage that we can on that. But yeah, this has been another great episode of the College Couch Podcast. As always, thank you guys for joining us and hanging out with us for over an hour, hearing us ramble and talk on for this amount of time. We greatly appreciate it for all that y'all do. Oh, before I forget, ladies and gentlemen, the College Couch Podcast has broken a huge milestone as far as social media. One of our reels did extreme numbers, getting over 11,500 views, over 300 likes, like 2 comments and 2 shares, which is fine. But to have that many views is a blessing to us. Like, we were just literally sitting around one day and we just kept seeing our views just tick up and up, and we couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And then we started doing some deep diving, and it was coming from Facebook. So apparently one of the reels was merged into from Instagram into Facebook, to where people, like, I guess maybe like the use of hashtags that we use was literally sending waves, I guess, to different account holders of Facebook, and I mean the views would just shot up. So we are extremely thankful and blessed, and we thank you for all of your support, for all that we do. Like, again, you guys make the College House what it is. and we can't do it without you. So thank you for that. Also, we have a few interviews lined up. You know, we'll be interviewed, and as well as we'll be trying to get some people to interview as well. So looking really forward to that. Yeah, thank you guys as always. Thank y'all for all that y'all do, and continue to support us, continue to ask us questions, continue to rock with us and show us love, because we're gonna show it back. So thank y'all. Stackz, my brother, take us
Hey
home.
man, we appreciate y'all showing love, man. Tell a friend, tell their cousin them, they auntie them, they everybody. You're a fan of college football, college basketball, college sports in general. We are a fan of you, and you should be a fan of this show. It's literally called the College Couch. Come sit with us, chop it up, tell a friend, tell everybody to share, comment, like, wherever you listen to your podcast at, watch your podcast at, we there. So, hey, we're gonna get up out of here. We appreciate y'all, man. We got some bills to pay. We out.
Wake up, I gotta go get it. Wake up, I